Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UK League Championship. Now, game 4 of the day is going to be our last of this era of the round robin as we move into stage 2. And we're going to have ourselves Barrage taking on Encalve. Now, Barrage, they were able to beat out Fnatic Rising. The only loss so far has been to BTXL, who are undefeated. Barrage are looking like an incredibly strong team, and it's kind of weird saying that after the summer split they had last year. They've really bounced back strong, and their new roster is looking very strong for them.
Yeah, and I think this is, very much the last 2 games and this one, we have a favored side coming into it, and it's pretty distinct. I think everyone can agree this is Barrage favored, but Enclave, the pressure isn't on you at this point. You know, you're 0-6. Hopefully at some point in the whole league, you'll get a win. You're up against one of the top sides. Just do your best. That's all I'm asking. They've made a roster swap now with Wisek in the jungle, so only Angel's back in the top lane, and I think he was the strongest performer for Enclave so far, so I think that's a good change. I think Wisek he's played for Enclave before last year. He was pretty aggressive in the jungle, so hopefully he can put up a challenge against Sybil, and it's definitely an uphill battle. But
it's absolutely
you have nothing to lose at this point. Just show your best, come out, put up a solid performance, challenge them, make them bleed a bit. If you do find the upset, that's huge. If you don't, you tried.
Yeah, the only thing you really have to lose is your Nexus. I'm curious to see how Wisek's going to fit with the team coming back to Enclave, as he was off on Pride in the Polish League, playing out there. Wisek is very kind of similar-esque to the likes of Nolte, where like he could get really far ahead and like be an absolute beast, or if he fell behind, like he would slip quite far behind. So if he gets ahead and combine that with the likes of Only Angel, they really could look to take over a game through topside. But is he going to be able to match up versus Sybil? Is Flair's going to be able to hold it down in the top lane? So far, Barrage, yeah, they can. So it's definitely an uphill battle.
We have seen Sybil and Flares have bad games before. It's happened. There was a game where Flares was on Kennen, looked pretty underwhelming. There was Sybil's first game of the split where he went for a super aggressive invade and paid for it. I don't think they're infallible. They have looked extremely consistent. So this isn't me saying they're bad by any means. It's just there have been moments they've looked vulnerable. And if we get the best game out of Enclave that we can see with Wisek in the jungle and Barrage, they show potentially their weak side, there's an avenue where Enclave can challenge this. But based on their track record, Barrage have been incredibly consistent. I think Flares and Sybil, other than a game each, have looked extremely good, especially Sybil. I think he's definitely looking like the strongest jungler in the league right now. Ericsson, a formidable monster in the mid lane. And then Kevo and Hado, strong points. Particularly Kevo, I've been a lot more impressed with him than I ever was in the past. Not just able to bring out things like the Hyman in the bot lane, but also a monster on Aphelios. And Hado,
I was about to say same for Hado, to be honest.
The interesting thing to take away from this is we saw XL get knocked away from taking a spot at EU Masters before. And it was by Diabolus in spring last year. And the only consistency between that Diabolus roster and this Barrage roster is to support Hado. So once again, we have a roster that is challenging. It's not we think it will. It is challenging the Academy teams. It is looking like Barrage are a strong contender to take one of those EU Master spots. And the consistent point from the last team to do that against the Academies is Hado. So obviously, Hado as a support, there's a lot more when you play that role than just what you're doing in front of us on the screen. Supports, often it's about how vocal you can be, how much you can assist your team, your movements around the map. And I think it goes a long way to suggest that this player who's been such a veteran of the team for a long time is a big factor in this team's success.
I mean, you say challenging the Academy teams. They beat Fnatic, and when they went up versus Barrage, they did challenge them as well.
Against XL.
When they went up against XL, they did challenge them. They played that early game very well. The mistakes and the infallibility you were talking about was shown in their mid game, kind of over-eager, making maybe some fights and trades that they shouldn't have been taking versus BTXL, and that's where the game kind of got taken over. And I feel like if you're Enclave, that's what you're looking at. You expect early game to be fairly strong because Barrage have kind of just rocketed out of the gates in these early games so far. They then can fumble as they transition from that early into mid game, and that's where we're expecting to see
I think
if you're Enclave to challenge.
I think it depends on the draft, because the draft that we saw them struggle on was when they had a composition that shouldn't really have been done that well in the early game. They contested well. Fair. Mid game, even though they had managed to go toe-to-toe, they were definitely in a power trough, and they should have just waited out for late game, and that's what caught them off guard. I think if Barrage have a composition where they start with early pressure and they keep running with it and they roll that into a strong mid game, they're fine. I think Barrage struggle when they have power troughs. If they keep just going stronger and stronger, they're fine. I think Barrage on a scaling composition, I'd be interested to see how that one goes out, because I feel like that's not exactly what we'd sort of look to see them do. And I don't mean scaling as in, oh, their picks are good late game. I mean scaling as in where you're letting the other team take the pressure, take the momentum. But against Enclave, they potentially could show that they're willing to do that. Show another dimension to them as this roster.
Well, we're into picks and bans. The Yuumi, the Misfortune, and the Syndra all banned away. Enclave on that red side, Barrage on the blue. We've seen the Aphelios left open. We've seen what it's capable to do, especially with the likes of Kevo, like you were saying. And with that Misfortune ban, you feel Enclave are going to look to ban it away, because I have no doubts that Barrage are going to want to first pick the Aphelios. But for now, Enclave, they do ban away the Soroka. It's disgusting top. We won't have to be talking about it after next week. Thank God for that.
Yeah, and Barrage. A lot of strong picks still open. The Karthus available, the Ornn available, the Aphelios, as you said. There's still a lot potentially to look towards. And I feel like Barrage have their pick. They are going to ban away the set from Only Angel.
It was a strong pick for him. All of the games where he's really started to look like he could put the game on his back, it was things like the set. Also that Aatrox as well. Good pick for him. So potentially something else in the wings waiting here for Enclave. And now running down this timer as they're thinking about what to ban. You would expect this to be an Aphelios, but they don't. They take away the fresh for now. And Barrage, maybe they want to first pick that Aphelios.
Yeah, don't see why not. It's open, it's strong. You take that one away. Now the question's going to be, what will Enclave do in response? I feel like if you take the Ornn here, you kind of limit yourself, because there's the potential that Barrage take Braum to counteract that engage. They could also take Yasuo even if you secure the Braum, and they pick up a favorable matchup bot for Kevo. So I think kind of a lot of options here for Enclave. They are going to take that Ornn. Question's going to be, are they going to pair it up with the Braum in this situation? Or will they potentially leave that over to Barrage? Because I think Aphelios Braum is a really strong combo. I think those two champions work extremely well together. And I think counteracting the Ornn engage is a big aspect. They could also go for the Karthus in the jungle. If they want to secure that as like a mid-jungle combo.
Looks like they were looking towards the AD carry role here for Enclave. They are looking to lock in the Xayah. So, Barrage, that Braum's open, like you said. That Yasuo potentially open as well if they want to take something that can just shut down Enclave's ability to fight. Or at least start those fights. You would feel the Braum would be a solid pick for Hado, especially paired up with Kevo here on the... God, I had a brain fart. Aphelios there, but they are looking just towards the jungle right now.
Jarvan for Sybil, I think, is a good one. It works extremely well into the Xayah as well, because you can go up, but you'll still be locked in the Cataclysm. I think it would make sense for Barrage to go the Braum here. The one weakness of that is it wouldn't allow Enclave to go Xayah Rakan. And Rakan, obviously, a good matchup into that Braum, although Braum does well against the Xayah. So, I mean, I think it makes sense to me, but they could go in a different direction if they chose to. But, yeah, makes sense. Braum comes out. Enclave, I think you go the Rakan here. You secure that bot lane matchup. There's elements that are favorable. Rakan's good in the Braum, but Braum's good in the Xayah. But it gives you early pressure. And then goes in the next rotation. I think Barrage want to be banning away that Karthus to deny that as a combo in the mid-jungle. And Enclave looking towards having the power in their counter pick. They have the flexibility from that Ornn.
You got to remember also for Wyzek, a pick like Kindred is potentially something you want to ban away from him. He had back in the spring split, in the summer split, Kindred was actually a really solid pick for him. So it's a potential ban here for Barrage. Takes some comfort off Wyzek as he's kind of new to this version of Enclave. You ban away the comfort. You force him onto something, you know, a little bit further down that ladder as far as junglers go. So we expect Barrage here to ban away the junglers as Enclave. Again, taking their time with this, thinking about what they're going to ban away. They take away the Cassiopeia from Ericsson.
Makes a lot of sense.
Potentially flares.
Makes a lot of sense because it's good in the Ornn. Obviously has the damage to potentially kill through him. So makes sense to take that one off the cards. Barrage, I expect the Karthus here. Second ban, you potentially look towards something else for Wyzek, or look for maybe something from those flexes that you could be concerned about. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, both of these teams spending some time on this ban phase. They really want to make sure they ban away the right thing. The Barrage take away the Yasuo here from Air, or potentially even only Angel.
yeah, I wouldn't. Nah, you're not gonna see a Yasuo top. You'd be wild to see a Yasuo top unless there was a counter pick, but there is potential for that in this situation. So maybe Barrage setting up to play something that Flares could potentially be countered by that, but I feel like it's usually a ban away from the mid lane. Now, Encalve taking the Mordekaiser away, a good matchup into the Ornn. We saw that in the game earlier today where it was Fnatic against M&M. Barrage, for me, I think you take away the Karthus in this situation. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if they feel the same way. That Kindred potential, they could play that out. It's pretty good in the Jarvan because obviously the Cataclysm, you just keep that person alive. It does mean you stack up against Aphelios, which isn't optimal, but...
Yeah, well, they're banning away the Gragas, so kind of saying to why is it take your pick what you want, pick your poison. Gragas won't be available to you. I like it though, because Gragas obviously does have good engage.
Gragas Rakan's pretty strong together because Gragas ult is pretty hard to like primary engage with, but if Rakan gets the knock up, it's so easy just to throw the ult and knock them into your team. Ultimately, that one's off the cards though. The question's going to be what Isaac's playing. He's not leaning towards the Karthus. He wants to go for something that he can put a stamp on the game early with that Lee Sin, apply some pressure. Now that means Barrage have to sort of dictate their solo lanes, and we get to see where Enclave go with their mid or top laner. Gangplank is open and available. Really strong combo with the Jarvan. Because obviously you can throw that ult down on top and that ticking damage. But Flares could go in the direction of something else with the Riven. They show a lot of confidence on it, but would be potentially blind here.
Yeah, well, he does pick that up. Now Barrage looking for most likely their mid laner. Unless they want to try and flex the Riven into mid if it's going to be a mid lane Ornn as a blind pick that is, we talked about it as actually quite a strong blind pick that hasn't actually seen much kind of show so far, is this Zoe that's being hovered right here by Ericsson. Ericsson's been one of the players who's actually kind of favored this Zoe. We've seen it a couple of times from him, but switches back away, goes in for the Dana. There's a lot of melee players here on the side of Barrage. And one of the things we saw in a different league over in the Nordics was Energy picking up a Veigar as his kind of answer to these high melee compositions, where you just kind of make a zone of control to work around with. So potentially we might see something like a Veigar to come through here for Air, but for now, looking towards the Kennen as they're not going to lock that in. So I'm not sure who's mid. Is it Kennen or is it only Angel?
That'll be the one. So yeah, Kennen into the Riven. Obviously the range discrepancy and the mobility makes it pretty hard for the Riven actually to deal with you. If she does all in with the ult with the flash, obviously you have your ult to lock her up and can gain some distance. So not the best matchup for Flares in the mid lane. And also, obviously, Kennen great against melee champions when they all get up together and you can lock them down. In the mid lane, all into melee champions is just, you know, he just trades so well. That champion's extremely strong. There's a lot of engage potential, a lot of CC lockdown in team fights, but ultimately, Barrage have a ton of dive. And I feel like Dirking, happy to be on the Xayah in this situation. But a 1-3-1 could be very threatening from Barrage if Ericsson or Flares find some momentum. Kevo is going to become a monster in the later stages if Enclave can't find access to him. But I don't think either team's come out too far ahead or too badly in terms of draft. I'm a little bit curious about Enclaves, though, because I feel like they're going to have to play really well around Wiseek. They're going to have to facilitate him with the prio mid from the Ornn, and Wiseek's going to have to find momentum, because if he doesn't, I feel like the game is just going to slip away from them.
We also look at this Kennen pick, and it is one of the other kind of strong picks that Only Angel was playing during his time on M&M last season as well. So it's just another comfort pick given over to them. And like you said, really good anti-melee and also fairly solid team fight. I mean, fairly solid. It has incredibly good team fighting. You get a big slicing Maelstrom off through the team and everybody can get locked down and just blown up. That just gives time for Dirking just to free fire away with those feathers and set up for an even more bursty team fight. So Barrage needs to be a little careful on that. So let's talk about the win conditions. What do they need to do? What is Barrage looking to do in this game with this high melee composition they've drafted?
I think they want to facilitate the solo laners. I think bot's going to be pretty self-sufficient. They've even gone exhaust to have that sort of defensive aspect. You get Diana in a position where she can move away from the Ornn or even kill the Ornn. She has quite a bit of sustained damage in the early game. Obviously, mid-game, less possible. Or you set up top lane and get flares ahead, and then the 1-3-1 essentially plays itself. And Barrage have shown they are very good at 1-3-1s. And if they transition that, they apply pressure in the side lanes, they rotate into the mid lane and look to dive. Really easy for them. It suits them massively.
Well, the first stage of the round robin ends here Barrage taking on Encalve. Encalve looking for their first win of the UKLC. Barrage looking to continue their streak of dominance they've had here. Their reign of terror that started in 2020. Can they do it? Only dropping a game to BTXL so far. Barrage looking like a formidable force here in the UKLC.
Absolutely, and it's a big ask to see if they stop them. Guess we'll have to see if they can do it. Definitely a challenge.
Minions have spawned.
Ping's coming out. It looks like potentially... I think it's just warding being looked for by the Heathen here. Assist ping's coming out. I don't think there's going to be invade. You do not want to go for an invade against a Braum. Would not be a fun time. Yeah, both junglers going to start on the bot side. Get some assistance, a strong leash from the duo bots. And Flair's actually found only Angel.
Yep, it's going to be able to run a fair amount of damage into him here. Picking up the Qs, and oh my lord, only Angel is going to get a bit of a fair trade back around thanks to the help of that turret shot. But the pot's already burnt by only Angel. The Doran's shield means Flares is fairly comfortable. He actually just flashes in forward here. Forces only Angel to flash away as well. Little overeager there by Flares. Maybe should have waited for level 2, but decides to think a bit better of it and goes in.
I think he's just happy with a situation where he trades flashes. That's essentially what's going to come from that one, is a trade of flash. There's no way only Angel would die there without using his own, since you don't have the instant CC. But that sets Sybil up to move here. There's no vision. Well, there was actually a ward. They spotted him.
He did get seen, yeah.
Yeah, he did get seen. There was no ward there right now. Only Angel should be expecting this. They could potentially set up a dive, and you see Isaac pathing over to try and respond. He'll actually burn very early from Dirking. I don't feel you need to burn. So normally you burn heal early. That's not going to work. Normally, you burn heal early when you're up against Ignite. And the reason being, the Grievous Wounds reduces the effectiveness. But Enclave are against Exhaust. So I feel like there's never really a reason you need to heal early unless for the movement speed. We didn't see the play, but a little bit over-eager and now down a Summoner. Pretty critical. So Isaac's actually going to path over here.
Has been seen on this ward, though.
Sybil is responding.
Going to move up. Sybil wants to get his blue buff. Smites to see, gets it nice and quick, and
Not
gonna be here in time. Isaac waiting around. Only Angel now used his speed up as Wyzek's been found out by Sybil. The trade is on, and got to be careful if you're Wyzek. You're getting collapsed onto here by Flares. Flares looks to try and get the stun off. Can get a two-man knock-up. He's charging it up. Actually misses everybody, and now they can just turn it back around. First blood picked up by Wyzek. Sybil gets one in return. Only Angel now going to get slowed and taken out. It's a battle of attrition, and Only Angel rubs his socks on the carpet to get away. Teleport coming in for Flares. Just a massive misplay by Flares to miss that knock-up.
Yeah, but it's a big win, honestly, for Barrage there. They take away the double buffs from Wyzek. And Flares, the wave position, really good for him. There's a massive wave in front of the tower. Only Angel's going to miss a ton. And you can see he doesn't even TP to the wave because he knows it's extremely risky because Sybil can just return for a gank again. Only Angel has to step up so far to contest this wave. Now Sybil's just going to look to pressure Wyzek. He has the red buff and blue buff advantage. So he's feeling confident, but you don't really want to tango with an Ornn.
Now, the lane wasn't completely pushed up here by Ericsson, so he had partial lane priority, but not enough for Air couldn't rotate to this chicken camp.
So you see the gank coming in top lane. This is from Only Angel having to overextend.
Oh, there's the flag, the drag, the knock-up. Only Angel knocked up twice, stunned and taken down. Flares finds himself the kill. Now Wyzek and Air looking to answer back. Sybil needs to try and get away, but double buff to give him back over. Flares 1 versus 2. Now needs to put some distance between him and the Enclave members as they look to dive into the tower, but Flares gets the stun off. Air's going to tank a tower, and Wyzek is going to hold his life there.
So this is the issue. We saw that massive wave built up. Only Angel had to step up to contest it, and he was vulnerable to a gank. Now, although it was a 1-for-1, Enclave had to react with that TP, and you can see a massive CS discrepancy in these solo lanes that has built up because of the skirmishes that have occurred. Only Angel denied a huge amount of CS from that freeze, and Ericsson was able to shove the wave in and recall while Air TP'd. So yes, it's even in terms of kills, but Barrage definitely coming out ahead.
Well, it's only a 200 gold lead currently between these teams. Although that gold lead is firmly sitting in the pocket of the solo laners. Ericsson with a smashing gold lead over Air. And Flares kill and assist with a CS lead over only Angel. Means it's starting to feel a little bit rough here in these solo lanes, but Wisex has a fair amount of gold. He's an early jungler. Might be able to set something up here for the side of Enclave. Have to keep our eyes on him, on his rotations through the jungle. He's able to get his double buff back as well, crucially. So he may be thinking about starting up this Infernal Drake. Sybil has seen him out, though.
These junglers pretty heavily going blow for blow, for the most part, matching each other on the map.
Ooh, good Graviton. Although he's able to jump away. Actually, looks to go back in here, gets the W off from Durkin. Trying to stack up those concussive blows. Wisex making his way forward, but Sybil hot on his heels behind him.
Yeah, pretty big overstep from Hado there. Really just walked too far forwards and then took a bad trade on the rear end. But ultimately, with Sybil covering, with the wave stacked in Barage's favor.
Oh, Ericsson.
Not much
actually finds out Air has himself the Moonfall available. As Wisex looks to jump in, throws it down, and Wisex just finds the kill.
That was really nice from Air. He gets the knock-up from the Searing Charge straight away into the knock-up from the ult. Not very much Ericsson could do to flash away from that one. And just a bit ambitious to try and go in on the Ornn there. You're not really going to have the damage to kill him. And you should have known that Wisex was close. So, bit of a misplay. Uncharacteristic from Ericsson. Haven't really seen too many misplays from him so far in this split. Definitely can happen to anyone.
Kevo catching this wave here, pushing it up. You can see both of these teams want to contest this Infernal Drake. The pings are coming down, and the ward's heavily in favor of Barrage currently on there. So Flares looks to try and find some trading onto only Angel, but the CS lead is still massively in his favor. It looks like Wisex wants to see if he can steal away this one, but Hado are going to be able to block it out. They throw down the turret. A two-man knockup comes down, and Kevo has to flash away. Wisex is on a killing spree here. Ericsson, no Moonfall, and Hado flashes the wall to get away. Enclave lose the Infernal Drake, but kill the AD carry.
That was actually really nice. I was going to criticize Wisex for dashing in. I thought he'd overstepped for the smite steal and was just going to give away that shutdown, but he quickly transitions that into a kill onto Kevo, finding the Sonic Wave. Honestly, this is looking like a new Enclave with Wisex with them, and I was questioning the decision to not go for something like the Karthus and instead prioritize the Lee Sin, but he's making it work. He's applying that early pressure and going toe-to-toe, and even doing better than Sybil right now.
Yeah, Sybil just seems to be answered out every time Wisex goes anywhere on the map. Now let's talk scaling. I know it's a horrible word, everyone hates it, but how does the scaling go in this game?
I feel like it does favor Barrage. I think mostly down on the Aphelios, I think is a big factor. And the multiple carry threats is another one. I do feel like the mid game from Enclave, though, when they start hitting those spikes on the Ornn items, they're extremely strong. But I feel like a Barrage either have a massive lead then or wait it out. They'll come back into where they are powerful.
Oh, looking for a play here. Wisex has the kick, has the flash. Kevo looks to jump away as he gets knocked up and taken down. Wisex on a rampage, and Kevo just complete disrespect. Knowing Wisex was there, just overstaying.
Yeah, absolutely was, and gets caught out. And it feels like Enclave challenging Barrage in ways they haven't really been challenged before in the early game and doing extremely well against them. Even against Excel, their early game held for Barrage, but here, they're struggling.
Yeah, now they're going to lose the Rift Herald for this, and this could be a lot of plate gold given over to the likes of someone like Durking. Sybil has found out the Heathen here, and Hado coming in. Already been picked up, the teleports are being used, and it looks like Barrage, they want a team fight, but they're just not quick enough on the mark, and Flares just burned his teleport for nothing.
Yeah, that was not a good TP, is what I'm going to say. They don't have TP disadvantage on top of the Herald going in the favor of Enclave. So this is a messy Barrage so far, and they still have a massive CS lead mid, still have a CS lead top. They still have strong elements later in the game, but this is not a good look so far. But Enclave, like I said, new team, this looks like so far. It feels like everyone's playing around Wisex and facilitating him, and he's doing a monstrous job here on this Lee Sin.
Can he keep it up, though? That's what we need to see. His kick's coming up soon. His flash not up for a little while. Ericsson is the man who has put in so many Barrage games underneath him. This game, 0-1-0. Up in CS, crucially. So it's got a level advantage over Air, but Air, just on this Ornn, is just basically playing to negate him on this Diana pick right now.
Essentially, yeah, and Diana does have good wave clear, so happy to just cut through them if Ornn ever leaves, and has been farming up a pretty big difference. Despite the kill lead, despite the Herald lead, Enclave still only fractionally ahead in gold.
It's getting picked up. That's going to be the Glacial Prison used already. Sybil has his Cataclysm, trying to find something onto Durkin. Wysec gets a free-man kickoff. The Feathers get pulled back, and Kevo trying to turn it around in midst of everybody. Durkin falls, and Barrage turn the fight back around. Sybil's looking for another one. He even looks to jump away, but the flag, the drag, everything available. No, he even gets out, and Barrage do get themselves the 2 kills, but don't get the full hat trick.
Critically, though, the shutdown on Wysec. That was a ton of gold in their pocket. And despite Barrage only coming ahead in that play, they're now 1,000 gold up.
Oh, I think Only Angels had to teleport in, and Flares interrupted him. He's flashed, and Only Angels flash and teleport are on cooldown.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. That could have been the difference maker in that situation.
A lot makes more sense now here. Only Angel will at least get a plate for his troubles, as Flares actually looks to jump into him, knowing that Flash is down. The Slicing Maelstrom also down.
But it's not the situation you want to be. That shutdown gold from Wysec being handed over to Barrage. Not a good situation overall. Wysec still looking to apply pressure. Is that Herald in his pocket for another minute and a bit? We'll see where he wants to throw that one down.
Yeah, well, the pings are going down here at the Dragon Pit.
So what you can do is you can throw it down mid lane to apply pressure so that Barrage move to respond, and then they can get the Dragon as a result. That's probably the best one here, but you do see Flares moving over, and Only Angel doesn't have an ult or a TP. And I think on the back of this...
Ooh, Air. Instantly gets caught out here. They use the Moonlight Vigil to pull him in. Sorry, the Moonfall gets himself a 2-man knock-up. He even comes in with the shielding to make sure he stays alive. Flares has that wind slash, and down goes Air. He even will be next to fall. It's an execute, it's a kill. 2 for Ericsson, 1 in return for Enclave. Wysec tries to answer back out, throws a kick onto Ericsson, cannot collapse fast enough. And the Angel will get some plates topside, but he's just lost 2 in the mid lane.
Yeah, big misplay. It felt like Barrage had the control of that. They had Flares roaming down. He had ultimate available. Only Angel, no TP or ult when that play started. I think Enclave should have just backed off, potentially looked to rotate topside and get this tower, which they are going for now. But they didn't need to give over those kills. That was really unnecessary and just a misplay from Air overstepping. They will get this first tower blood, though. Barrage secure the second dragon.
That's a lot of gold gift over to Only Angel as well. Someone who's been struggling versus Flares. He's been able to pull back the CS deficit, but did start out early. But first Tower Blood will fall here, and that'll be given over to the side of Enclave. Hado now moving, making sure that Kevo can get as many plates as possible here in his lane. Try and get some turret plates before they do fall off.
And because the race is won by Enclave, they get first tower first because of the Herald. They're now able to transition that into mid-tower pressure. They'll get damage down on this one. Why is it going to Only Angel look to threaten?
Needs to be very, very careful. Does have himself the Moonfall available. He wants to jump in, but it could just get caught down by the Slicing Maelstrom.
That's enough. That's a point you back off. Jarvan's coming over. Only Angel has no flash.
Yeah, Only Angel uses the ultimate, looks to try and put some space between him and the enemy team. Teleport comes down in Air, goes unstoppable with the Bellows Breath. Flag and drag has been used. They've got the Cataclysm, they've got the Grand Entrance, Moonlight Vigil into the Graviton route. Makes it a 1-for-1 fight, but the Wind Slash is just cutting through Enclave. Flares makes his way out as the Feathers route up 2. 2-for-1 in favor of Barrage, and they're going to be gifted a turret for that.
And Barrage react in force. The engage from Sybil comes in, and honestly, Enclave overstaying a bit. You weren't going to get that tower. You had to respect the rotation. You didn't, and you give over mid lane tower to Barrage. They're now 2k gold ahead, and it's frustrating to see because I feel like Enclave hitting a lot of marks, but then it's just these critical miscalculations that end up biting back and deny them from being able to take this further against Barrage. They're now about 2,000 gold down. It's going to take something big for them to turn this one back in their favor, because we've seen how dominant Barrage can be in the mid game when they have momentum. and their composition can definitely carry through here. They have the tools to set up for a 1-3-1 as well. Ericsson and Flares both have TP, so they can split the map that way.
15 minutes on the clock here. Barrage have got themselves the goal lead, 2 turrets to 1. The Abyssal Mask finished up for Air currently. There's Ericsson 3-1 now on this Diana. Got the Nash's Tooth, and looking at the AD carry differences, there's a whole BF sword separating Kevo and Dorking right now. Pretty substantial lead. Flair's building towards his Black Cleaver. Should probably be able to pick it up on this base, although he wants to make sure this wave crashes. And Rift Herald getting started up from Enclave on the other side of the map, knowing they got this man advantage. Flares does have that teleport. It looks like Barrage aren't actually aware this is going down now. With the appearance of Heathen, he knows it's happening. He's not going to contest it.
They don't have the vision. They're letting Flares apply pressure in the side lane. They're happy to split this into a 1-3-1. The Herald in favor of Enclave does mean they can break mid-tower whenever they want. But doesn't change really the state of the game right now. With Barrage ahead and in control.
Good go, Isaac. Holds the way for Durkin.
Wants a side fed.
Getting jumped onto, has to heal, but Ericsson is just cutting through him like he's nothing now. Now he's got that Nash's Tooth.
Has to sustain damage to work through Air, who is pretty heavily underfarmed compared to the Diana. Ericsson able to stack up 4 kills from the previous skirmishes, so he's in a really solid position. And Barrage, they've split into this 1-3-1, and Sybil's just free to move between and find these picks.
You're seeing Wyzik being the strong point here for Enclave, and Air is unfortunately the weak point, and he is buckling under the pressure of Ericsson. We were saying Ericsson wasn't hitting the mark earlier. He has now found that form, that consistent form that we know him for. The rest of the team also playing pretty well here for the side of Barrage. It really, really is coming off the back of Sybil and Ericsson so far, being able to pull out the advantages that Barrage are finding here. Flares looks to jump at Only Angel. Only Angel pretty
Barrage,
quick.
both teams actually gone for a full reset, so trying to hit the item spikes before this next dragon. This would be soul point for Barrage, so may well look for Enclave to contest this one.
Here's a Mountain Soul as well.
Feeling a lot of Mountain Souls today.
We've had 2 Cloud Souls and 2 Mountain Souls today. No Infernal Souls, no Ocean Souls.
Herald being thrown down mid to apply pressure, so this will take the tower just off the charge, and this is to try and get Barrage to respond in the mid lane so they can lean over to the dragon.
There's not a ward. Barrage actually didn't clear that out.
Barrage aren't really responding yet, though. Okay, they are now moving. Kevo's moved over. Ericsson's moved over. This tower's going down. And this should allow Enclave to move through into the bot side river and try and contest some of this vision. Sybil has to back away. His team are responding to the mid wave. And now Enclave have posture. They have position. You can see that Ericsson's pushing the wave up mid. So Enclave, they have to start this. The engage potentially not going to come in.
Yeah, Sybil's making his way forward. He does not have the level advantage, gets kicked back out. Can he secure it? No! Wyzik secures the dragon, denying it from the side of Barrage. And now the fight is on. Kevo looking to run for everyone, but Only Angel with the slicing maelstrom, locking down members left, right, and centers. The health bars are so low on every front as Only Angel is minced and taken down. A double kill for Ericsson. The rest of the team are running to the win, but Kevo cuts through them. It's 12-8 on the score. It's a 3-0, 3-1 in favor of Barrage.
The dive is huge from Barrage and Enclave. They get the dragon, but not the fight. They're cut down. Ericsson and Flares were just stellar there. They clean up the kills. They take a tower. And Barrage looking firmly in control. They may not be a step closer to that soul, but definitely a step closer to taking this game.
Good denial by Enclave. Good secure by Wyzik, but they lost way too much there. The cost was too high for what they got.
Yeah, they focused on Wyzik using his kick to disengage Sybil to try and get the dragon and just secure it, but it allowed Barrage to go into a position where they could find those angles to flank in. Durkin tried to back away. You could see Enclave, once they got the dragon, they were saying, let's try and get out of this, let's try and kite away. but they got encircled, they got dived on, and they ended up in a choke point, which was easily capitalized on.
Another key thing is that choke point also was blocked off by the Cataclysm from Sybil, and that meant Only Angel wasn't really actually able to land the ultimate onto too many key members. He only locked down like Sybil and Flares, and Sybil and Flares don't care. They're pretty tanky at this point. I mean, Riven's not inherently massively tanky, but she can survive through the slicing Maelstrom long enough to be able to sustain herself back up with the Conqueror.
5,000 the gold lead now. 700 gold bounty on Ericsson. Definitely nice if they can cash in on that, but it's not looking likely. You can see the 1-3-1 coming out from Barrage, something typically they've leaned towards heavily in their game so far, applying that split map pressure. Right now, both the solo laners have TP, and they're opting to put Ericsson in the bot lane, feeling more comfortable. I think a big factor of that is that Ericsson has flash, he has Zhonya's, he has definitely the damage potentially 1v2. If Enclave send enough members bot lane to kill Ericsson, not only will they probably lose someone in the fight, but that also buys enough time for Barrage to do this Baron.
Oh, Ericsson flashes forward, throws out the Moonfall. Only Angel tries to respond in kind, gets one more Crescent Slash, and Only Angel's out of there. Ericsson now looking to turn back onto Air. He's got a teleport to keep himself alive. Air misses out on the knock-up, and Flares teleports in a little bit too late. So nobody dies on the side of Enclave, but good pressure opened up here. The sniper turret is placed. And try and get some turret damage onto this tower here from the side of Barrage.
Enclave happy with that one. Ericsson burns flash, you trade one of the TPs, Only Angel doesn't die, you take that, absolutely. Now pushing around mid, Wisek potentially looking for a play. Kevo does have flash, but so does Wisek. It looks like Barrage is just gonna back away. Now it will definitely be Ericsson in the bot lane, maintaining the gap between the objective to focusing around that Baron. And Only Angel, until his flash comes up, it's a precarious position up against the Diana. Now Flare's actually potentially looking for the all-in here.
Yeah, Flares knows Only Angel doesn't have that flash. Flares doesn't have it either, but he's very quick on this Riven. Got a lot of mobility built into that kit. Doesn't actually pull the trigger though. Only Angel's able to disengage. Has himself the Hex Drinker for a slow and a bit of added sustain.
So actually stop coming in to set priority up for the Dragon here. Because obviously Ericsson, furthest away from the objective they're focused on. You can see a lot of control wards in Enclave's red side jungle. Diamond off them. Sort of secure control over that side of the map. And you can see for now the Barrage looking to get control of the bot side river. So setting up for that third Dragon if they can secure it. They're spawning in a minute. They know the Baron's not really on the cards for Enclave. They will take the Scuttle, though, just to allow some vision, so there's less possibility of them taking it. The Dragon definitely the focus now. Mountain spawning in 45 seconds.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Everybody just trying to hit their break points, get their summoner spells back, get their ultimate cooldown in their favor as Wisek looking for something onto Ericsson. Ericsson able to dodge away on the Sonic Strike. Flare's just clearing out this vision, making sure there's no teleport flanks available. Full vision control around this Baron Dragon Pit. This time, Enclave don't have a Rift Tail to throw down to get them that instant prio in the lane. So Barrage being a lot more comfortable to contest this, to step up and take this. Currently, Enclave are actually picking out some things around the Baron Pit. There's so much vision available here, afforded to Barrage.
I don't think you need to contest this Dragon. I don't think this is the play. I think you just give it up. You don't have the vision. You try and maintain this vision around the Baron area, and you just let Barrage take the third one. It's not a soul. It's not that big of a deal. You can handle it. And you'll see they're trying to keep control as best they can of the vision they had on the top side, maintain that, and they do give over the Dragon. So right call.
The key thing is Barrage, Enclave don't have to contest this because Wisek did get that last Dragon. Yeah, had he not got that last Dragon, they would have had to definitely contest this because Mountain Soul would have made this so rough for them.
I don't think it's 100% definite. I think it would have been a lot more difficult decision, I'll say.
Okay.
I don't think Soul's not the insta-win objective. It hurts. Don't get me wrong, it hurts to give it over, but it's not like Elder Dragon.
It's a big advantage,
yeah.
And it also forces the Elder earlier.
I think it's
Enclave maybe want the time.
It's an easy decision now to say we don't give it up. The big question is going to be in 4 minutes. Do they fight it? Is the game in a position there where they can? I think they obviously... I mean, the difference is with Baron is hard to take. You know, it takes a lot of time. Unless Kevo has Crescendum, then you do it in 2 seconds because balanced champion. it gives a massive buff, but it also does massive magic damage to everyone taking it. So I feel like it gives a better avenue for Enclave to approach, which is why they will contest this Baron. But the Dragon, oh, it's difficult. Flares could be in trouble here.
Yeah, Flair's looking to put some distance. Has to flash away from the Moonlight Vigil. He even looking to jump up with the quickness. Everybody's laying everything down. Only Angel looks to get the stun off, and Flares will fall.
Mid lane.
But the rest of Barrage, they're just taking turrets. They don't even mind trading out here. They lost their top laner, but they're going to get an inhibitor turret for this, and they're going to cut through it so fast.
This is the power of the 1-3-1. You try and clap someone on the sides, and you lose something in return. They get the inhibitor tower, but not the inhibitor. They're going to back away. And no engage really possible for the side of Enclave as a response.
That was a very worthwhile try for Barrage. And was it difficult early, difficult mid? I think it's fair to say Enclave really did challenge them and looked like they were starting to gain some advantages. But as we just transferred later on into this game, Barrage just showed that consistency they have, where they just seem to be able to read the map well, get themselves ahead. Ericsson is a constant pressure point. Got the Void Staff, got the Zhonya's, and himself, the Nash's Tooth.
I mean, this is a build that just very much destroys air right now. With the magic penetration, the sustained damage of the Nash's Tooth, and also the Zhonya's to avoid potentially the Ornhorn coming in. It's 1-3-1 starting, but right now, Barrage just looking to push in.
There's literally no vision here. Isaac was looking to base, but decided not to.
He's on the flanks. The Scrynorb comes in. He's potentially looking for a steal from an angle.
We find a good kick onto Kevo as well, forcing them in. But this Baron is liquefying here to Barrage. Wyzik looking to step up forward here. Throws the kick, lands it onto Kevo. Barrage disengage, and they're looking to find something onto Wyzik. Wyzik jumps over the wall to get away, and Barrage doing a good job to step away for the moment. The Cataclysm lands onto multiple members, getting up all of the AoE damage. Down comes the Moonlight Vigil onto air, but now he looks to turn it around. Only Angel gets himself a slicing Maelstrom off onto one. Ericsson in the middle of the team goes golden to dodge out on the feathers, throws out a curved blade, but it's not going to be enough to find anyone there. Enclave disengaging and continually kiting back as only Angel is just putting space between him and Barrage members.
Down.
Flares falls, and Enclave disengage the Dragon, disengage the Baron, and get themselves a kill.
And that was the perfect fight for Enclave because so much damage was laid onto air and no one else. The Cataclysm, it was only air and Heathen. Heathen dashed out. The ult from Kevo as well. They couldn't find the backline access, which was perfect for Enclave to fight front to back. Now they're on the Baron. This could be precarious, but it's a 5v4.
Ericsson doesn't have ultimate. It's coming up very shortly here. Air lands a knock up onto Haddo. Kevo trying to put some distance between him and the team. Ericsson throws out the Crescent Blade. Doesn't quite get himself enough members to jump in onto. That Moonfall is now available to him. So Enclave disengaged. They almost got that Baron, but they didn't get it in the end.
Barrage 50-50 or staying on the Baron when your carries are exposed to the enemy team. They take the kill. They're going to reset. Question's going to be 50 seconds on that Mountain Dragon. Do you think you can find us another fight like that? Essentially, the reason they did so well was they were able to fight front to back. Air was soaking all this damage. Ericsson tried for a solo dive, but he wasn't really able to find any momentum there. And so much damage was put into the tank, but you're fine with that if you're Enclave.
Now, if we look at the cooldowns available coming up at this Dragon Timer, we will see everything will be up for both sides of the teams here, apart from the summoner spells, but all the ultis will be up. The Zhonya's should be back. And also, looking at Enclave, they've got those ornaments coming in. The Obsidian Cleaver on Wyzik, you've got the Enforged Fire Cape and the Infernal Mask picked up onto Air, and the Molten Edge for Dirking. So actually, he's down an item, but it does have a bit of additional stats to work with. Barrage.
The whole thing here is the flashes. Watch Ericsson and Kevo have theirs. Dirking and Wyzik have theirs. Those are the one to watch in this fight if it breaks out. Barrage looking to contest.
Sibbles stepping forward. That's the Moonlight Vigil into the Cataclysm. Dirking is untouched. Keevan jumps out. They fry the Glacial Fissure. That's going to be the Mountain Soul. Picked up for Barrage. Kevo is left free to fire away. And Sybil gets the kill. On to Air. Wyzik is just running through the jungle, trying to put some space between him and the team. And look at Barrage on the map. They're barreling up that mid lane, straight through the river towards Baron Nashor. They want to take this now.
And there is very little Enclave can do to contest this one. They might look to move over, but Barrage still at a strong position. Ult available for Flares and Ericsson. If Isaac tries to get in, they'll shut him down.
Kevo's going to take this fairly quickly, but they're a little bit slow actually so far because everybody else is on zoning tools. Flares looks for a stun onto Heaven, forces him away. Isaac jumps in. Isaac flashes over, doesn't get the steal away. Slicing Maelstrom looks to lock them down, but Barrage cutting through members. So easy there. 30 minutes on the clock. Barrage have Soul. They have Baron, and they look to try and open the base here.
A valiant effort from Encalve, but ultimately the big objectives in the pocket of Barrage. They're going to start hammering on the base, and it's only Air and Durking who can try and stop it. Durking not even getting his reset off. He's been chased down by Ericsson.
Ericsson could, if he sees him, he could flash into the Luna Rush, but doesn't know where Durkin is. Durkin's just going for the base. The rest of the team taking the mid lane inhibitor. They're onto that top lane inhibitor now, and Encalve, they've got the death timers coming back up. It might be the time for them to do or die. Looks like actually Barrage want to reset, want to spend some of that gold. They don't want to give up the game quite yet.
Yeah, want to play it safe, spend the gold they picked up from that fight. If we take a look, I'm sure we'll see massive amounts in the pockets of Barrage. That's where things start to get rough. Once they buy, once they have those items picked up. We've seen a Spellbinder for Ericsson, the Edge of Night for Flares, the Last Whisper for Kevo. This is where it really starts to feel a little bit insurmountable. They're going to try and push up with the Baron. They have super minions pushing in mid and top. So they can just look to rotate towards that bot lane and push the wave in there. Encalve looking difficult right now.
Isaac trying to get his hands onto that Scuttle Crab now, but actually gets caught out here, stunned up, locked down. The Blast Cone is available, but Isaac looking to jump away, gets pulled into the team, and Kevo takes him down. He was trying to just get some vision around this Dragon area, known for Barrage would set up for the the Elder. Meanwhile, top lane Ericsson gets himself a kill onto Only Angel. And this game is looking dire for the side of Encalve right now. Actually, looks like it could just be done at this point. Barrage, knowing they've got that two-man advantage over the side of Encalve, looking just to step up and try and take out these last of these turrets. The Baron is still on them for a little bit. They got Baroned up super minions pouring in. Quickness into the Call of the Forge god as the turrets are going down. Kevo's doing his best to deal with this. That's a Moonlight Vigil onto Free, just mincing through them. Durking is actually able to make his way out of there, but a good Crescent Slash secures Ericsson a double kill. The Nexus will fall, and Barrage take out Encalve and remain the second strongest team in the UKLC.
Yeah, pretty convincing. It was a convincing win from Barrage. It's what we expected from them. They're the second strongest team for a reason, only challenged by XL so far, but Encalve definitely looked better. Yeah, I think Isaac being on the team revitalized them. They had someone to play around in the early game, someone to make the plays. I liked Air and a champion that gave priority. Although it didn't hold up against Ericsson, it did its job, and it facilitated some good skirmishes in the early game. But there were definitely some mistakes as I went further on. Obviously, having all your gold on Lee Sin a little bit concerning. Then there was the Only Angels teleport getting stopped bot lane. And I felt like as soon as they lost that momentum, the CS discrepancies between mid and top had meant the gold was still close, despite Encalve finding big plays. And then as soon as Barrage found a big play, it just slingshotted. It just slingshot out of control. They did find that good fight where they managed to keep Barrage at bay, but even that was only a one throw, and ultimately it was an uphill battle. But what I will say is this Encalve could definitely beat some of the other teams in the league.
Yes, it looks like we probably won't see a 0-7 Encalve coming out of this second round robin. It's how much they've learned going into this. Now that they've got Isaac on the team, he's looking incredibly strong, just like we remember Isaac being previously, back when he was playing on Encalve in the spring split. Did you play summer? I can't remember. Sorry, Isaac. But he looked good.
Summer, I'm pretty sure.
And yeah, I'm excited to see how they're going to fare. You got to keep in mind they were playing the second best team in the league there, a team who've beaten Fnatic. So yes, they lost, but it was the expected outcome, but not the manner of that game. We really thought, me and you looked at the schedule today and we're like, wow, we got a lot of one-sided games coming up. And by the time game 3 ended, we were like, okay, we've had a lot of one-sided games. That game, they challenged them. Yeah. They were fights. It did snowball out of control off the mid game, but I really want to look at Enclaves early and kind of track that for future weeks.
But I think coming into the draft and the start of the game, we said, this is an uphill battle. It's unlikely Enclave are going to win this. We want to see a good show. And we got that. We got them challenging them in the early game. Isaac looked like the better jungler there. We saw them finding kills, finding these skirmishes, and yes, they couldn't close out, but it was a big ask, and I think Enclave showed life, which is the big thing. I think with Isaac on the roster, they definitely have the potential. I think, obviously, it's hard. You can't do worse than a 0-7 in a round robin, you know?
True.
So far, they've lost to every team. Now it's the opportunity to improve on that, and I think there's potential.
Exactly. Let's have a little look at tomorrow's games to see what we got coming up here at the UK League Championship. We are going to have ourselves Enclave taking on Fnatic Rising. Then we have Barrage versus Phelan, BTXL taking on Envision, and Demise versus M&M Orcs. What are you excited for tomorrow?
I think Demise, M&M, going to be a close one where both teams struggling to find place in the standings. BTXL against Envision. This was close in the first round robin. I think Envision are looking better overall, but BTXL, they've been dominant. This could be their first loss, though. We'll see. I think game one, I think before today, I had less expectations for that. But I think Fnatic Rising, the early game, definitely not super solid. I think Enclave, maybe could put up a fight.
You've seen the one loss for Fnatic had. Sorry, one of their losses that Fnatic had was through Dan, kind of just getting completely walked over. Obviously, that was due to lane priority and stuff like that. But Isaac, he's good at setting up his teams to get these early lane priors and also going in for these kind of two-man invades into the side of the jungle. So maybe Isaac could be the avenue to shut Dan out of that game. We'll have to wait and see. But that will do us here for the UK League Championship for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock, same time, same place. So until then, good night, and we'll see you later.